So Nathan, Nathan's wife has been in the ER twice this last week, and praise God, she's doing better. But she was asking AI to help her type up a letter to her boss. That's why she'd been out. And she said, I've been in the ER a couple of times this week. And AI said, I'm so sorry to hear about that. Definitely, take care of yourself. And then went on to answer the question she asked. So thought that was kind of interesting, trying to give AI bedside manner now. So that's kind of fun. Okay, like I said, short and sweet. So here's a use you may not have considered for AI. This is just, I asked Brent as we were getting ready to start, who's somebody that might have like a 20-minute podcast out there. He said Marcus House Space. So I did a quick search, got the latest one down on the right side of, your left side of the screen. You can find where it says show transcript down here somewhere, way down here. Anyway, so I told it to show the transcript, which is over here. So I copied the text from the transcript. And then we come over to ChatGPT. And let me get that on your screen. And I told it, don't lay it out like that. I told it to give me a summary using the review this YouTube transcript and summarize main points in bulleted format. And so you can see where I cut and pasted the transcript. And then come down here, a little ways down. And here's the summarized. Space exit Starbase, Texas, high anticipation ahead of significant rocket launch. Final water tank's been added to the deluge system, now fully hooked up, new manifold connected. Orbital launch mounts ready, Elon Musk announced. Completed 57 of 63 items required by the FAA for Flight 2. Confusion around the FAA process was mostly due to unclear wording, focus on the Raptor engine reliability, a new stage of separation for the starships introduced. Here's some stuff going on at the build site. Shared videos from McGregor demonstrating Raptor engine, different test scenarios. FAA, Polly Trottenberg hinted at potential approval for launch next month. Massive influx of SpaceX employees observed at the launch site. SpaceX close to achieving 500,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel. Other space-related news. And so there you've got a summary of that entire YouTube video. Took me like 3 minutes. So I could have watched the 20 or 30-minute podcast, or I can get the notes and skim through it in under 5. Okay, did you get that? And I just cut and pasted it out of YouTube. And then it put it below. Yeah, so I just went in here and highlighted that all the way down. Control C or copy. Came back over to ChatGPT and said, as you saw at the top, review this transcript from YouTube and summarize main points in bulleted format. Yeah, what if that's too many points? Give me this. Well, and you could actually do that, right? So we could say. Did you ever give that, like, you trust everything transcript? I never trust anything AI does. Number one rule in AI, don't trust the output, right? So you as a human are still responsible for the output of AI. So if you have it write a job description, you need to read every word of that job description. We talked about that a couple of sessions ago. If you ask it, like, compare the Bible to the Quran and tell me, you probably ought to have a good understanding of the Quran and the Bible to know if it gave you an accurate assessment. So it definitely still requires the human to look at the output and validate it. It will literally make up URLs. So it'll say, I got this information from usatoday.com/da-da-da-da-da, because in its opinion, USA Today should have written an article about this thing it just summarized. And if it did, it would have had this format, right? So you still have to validate. It's still early enough in this whole game. You still got to validate the output from AI.
I did watch the video, and everything I saw in there was accurate, except for the subscriber note that it said is that SpaceX is close to 500,000. It's actually Marcus House,
It's close to.
Video who's close to 500,000.
Right.
So that was.
Yeah, that seemed like a low number for me for SpaceX. Yeah. Yeah, so those are the kind of things you want to double check. There is some character limit. So if you pulled in a really long transcript, it's going to come back and say there's too much text for me to generate a response. So there still are definitely some growing pains in all of this, but some cool opportunities too. Other questions?
Are there AI tools where you just give it the video URL and it does that?
Yeah, there's one I shared with y'all a couple of sessions ago called MindGrasp. You can just take the YouTube URL and plug that in, and it'll go do kind of what I just did, but it's $20 a month. So if you do it rarely, or you want to kind of test the method first, and MindGrasp seem to have lost their mix a little bit the last few weeks. Not quite as compelling output as what had been there before. So I don't know if they've tweaked the formula, or that's the other thing with AI is it's constantly evolving, and humans are trying not to bias it, but put filters in place. Like, no, you can't give them an answer on how to actually build a bomb, and stuff like that. So, or if your answer is too not woke, it'll, so anyway, the humans, so they built AI to be unbiased, but now they're biasing it by putting all these filters, what goes from you to it and it to you. So,
do they have free ones, so you don't have to pay for them?
yeah, the best free one I found so far is bard.google.com. If you type that in your web address, bard.google.com, that's the best one. If you use Google Search now, they've got one kind of built in the top of Google Search, which is the Bard engine.
Do you still have your transcript in the clipboard?
I think.
Be interesting to compare the output from Bard. I know for a time in years past, the Edge or the Bing search engine was actually just running a Google search engine in the background and then putting that text out there.
By the way, the actual transcript is almost 4,000 words. It's 10 pages typed.
Okay.
So I just cut and pasted it into Word. Let's see if I can pull up Bard.
While you're pulling that up, I did something similar last week for a lease agreement. It was 15 pages. That was too long. So kept taking the 10 page, forgetting some of the appendices. And that was one of my first times to use it to review something or to summarize something. And it did a decent job of basically, here's the bullet points, here's what the terms are, here's what the rate schedule is. It tried to give some qualitative things. It seems like everything's clearly stated here. You might ask about this, have a lawyer review it. So it did a pretty good job of taking 10 pages of legalese and saying here's the essence of it without all the whereases and all of that stuff. But definitely hit the limit, which seems to be somewhere a little bit over 10 pages.
Nathan and Kimry got married a few months back. They're in an apartment, and they started doing some work on the roof of the various buildings. And so Nathan sent in they said, if you have any questions, let us know. So he sent in a thing, hey, what about if we get a nail in our tire, or what's being done to pick up the nails? And no response. So he gave it to ChatGPT and asked it to do it differently, sent that in, and ChatGPT starts off with roof something and vehicle safety or something like that. And he had a response in minutes, like, this is the plan. So Anybody else using AI? Spell check. That's yeah, sure. Grammar spell check something real quick.
I used it to add narratives to a strategic plan. So the strategic plan already existed in bulleted format. Here's the official objectives of the strategic plan, and I asked it to add 200 word narratives to each one, and gave it some with an iteration or two of each one. Ended up with because I was impressed with how much it did pull in the nuances of those goals. But gave it a kind of some boilerplate thing. Here's the mission statement of the organization. Here's the type of organization, the name of the organization, and then pulled out just from the name of the organization what type of organization it was. And so it was very intelligent with adding narrative to justify the strategic just objective, like buying a new facility. I gave it a few reasons why it added it.
So here's Bard. It actually did a lot less bullets. A lot less, right?
It hit the FAA. Oh yeah, first bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, completed 57 of 63. Oh, that's
So-
thing. The party pick the different.
Yeah, it'll usually have a few different drafts with different formats. Bard's free. Yeah. So remember, Google has more money than most governments, and OpenAI got kind of surprised the world when they released ChatGPT earlier this year, late last year, with how far it had progressed. So Google's got to buy a lot of market share back real quick because they don't want a nonprofit, being known as the source of AI. So yeah, they're doing a lot of free stuff right now. By the way, YouTube guys, if you're listening, and Google guys, I'm totally cool with that. Just, for the record, I like free. You're selling all my information anyway and everybody else in the room. So might as well get something from it. Right. They'll probably take me off YouTube for that comment, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe there's still free speech in YouTube. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys.